Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks everybody for joining our session today. In our webinar, we're going to be taking a look at building SharePoint solutions with no code. Specifically, I'm going to show you how you can do this using the Infowise Ultimate Forms package. Basically, I'm just going to start. I wanted to give you a little bit of background. I was previously a customer of Infowise, and I've really enjoyed using the product and found more and more ways to build solutions using this platform. And I now have the opportunity to work with the Infowise team, and I really enjoy the opportunity to share information about these tools and to help others realize just how easy to use to build solutions that these tools are. My background is as a Microsoft Web developer. I started in SharePoint about 6 or 7 years ago, and I've found this to be the go-to platform for building solutions with SharePoint. Infowise tools are really easy to use. The focus is on having a complete form solution, and our team does really enjoy helping our customers to build solutions, and we're always looking for ways to improve the product. The tools deploy completely in the SharePoint interface, and that just makes it easy. Whenever you're building your solution, you don't have to go outside of SharePoint to use extra tools or things of that nature. And it is a full solution. The process of building solutions in SharePoint with Ultimate Forms is very straightforward. Basically, you go through the series of steps that you see in my diagram. You start by creating your SharePoint list and adding fields. The next thing you do would be to add tabs and set up your fields to be in those tabs. After that, you deal with things like permissions on your fields to control them depending on the audience. Then we have advanced validation settings that you can use. The business logic functionality, for the most part, should be able to replace everything that you would have done using SharePoint Workflow and SharePoint Designer. The email templates lets you have a comprehensive tool to create templates and email rules so that your tool sends out alerts to your users according to the logic of your system. Then the last part of this process would be working on print templates so you can have nice polished PDF print output from your tool. So this is very easy to do. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is actually jump into SharePoint. Before I move on with the presentation, I did want to just give a few ground rules. Please do provide questions. We're very interested in answering anything that you'd like to know about the product. The best way for you to do that is to use the chat interface in our web session. So you'll find that in your right bar on the side, and we will try to take the opportunity to answer your questions, either in chat or at the end of the presentation. I'll try to address some questions as well. After our session is over today, I'm going to go ahead and load this up to YouTube, and we'll make this available in the webinar section of our site. So if you do want to share this presentation or review it, you'll certainly have the opportunity to do that. With that, I'm going to go ahead and start into my main presentation. I kind of like to put the end first. I'd really like you to see what it is that we can build using our tool. So I'm going to walk through an example solution that I built from scratch just using Infowise tools in the SharePoint interface. And in particular, I want you to notice as I go through the presentation that this is a no-code solution. There's no lines of code or technical things that you'd have to do. You don't have to be a developer to build this solution. Okay, so let me show you how this help desk tool works that I built. We'll start there, and after I show you the functionality and features, I'll then go back and show you how you're able to build this kind of solution using the Infowise tools. In my help desk system, our users can go in and create a new ticket, and we present them with a very simple form to report their issue. Okay, so really easy from their side. I'll just put in a dummy ticket here. I can even include a screenshot. I'll go ahead and do that. So I'll insert a picture from my computer. There's my error screen that I got, and I can embed that in my rich text editor field there. Notice that the requester field is auto-populated, so the user doesn't even have to do anything with that. That's just done for them automatically. Real simple, only 3 fields, and our user is able to use this simple tool to report their issue. Okay, so at that stage, an email is going to go out automatically in our system. So we'll wait for that email alert to go, and that's how our help desk team will know that we've got an issue. So let me go and see if my email has come in. Okay, there's my ticket. Okay, so this is neat. You can see that I can do formatted email templates. So this is what the help desk would see. Also, a requester gets this confirmation to let them know that they've successfully submitted their ticket. We've got highlighted text showing the issue they reported. The image that the user provided is embedded in the email. We've got a nice friendly image at the bottom. And then if I click on this edit item, it would take me directly to the ticket. So exactly the kind of functionality that you'd like to have in a help desk style system. Okay, so the next part of this. Ticket has been open, so the next thing would be for our help desk team to take a look at our ticket. Notice the interface is changed completely from the add form. Now that I'm in the edit form, I can see all that detailed information. Naturally, I wouldn't want to show this to somebody when they're just reporting the ticket. Okay, so we've got things such as a way to assign a help agent. We can put a category on that ticket, assign a due date, track status, all those kind of things. And we're doing so with a visual interface. So we're going to have something that really looks nice and really goes beyond what SharePoint would do out of the box. Then we've got things like a manager notes section and history tracking. And also we've got something, you know, an indicator to show the process for help tickets. So that could be useful for everyone just to understand how this works. Okay, and we've also got a nice formatted header that helps us to see the ticket and its current status, things of that nature. All right, I tried to save it, but I didn't fill out information. We've got some validation going on here. This goes a bit beyond what SharePoint would normally provide. Because I've got a tabbed interface, notice I've got a icon that stands out that says, hey, you didn't fill out all your information, so you got to put that in. So I'm going to assign myself as the help agent, and it says category has to be assigned. Okay, so it's not letting me save unless I assign this. This was an issue with a Word document. I'll put Office 365. We'll say it's priority 2, and I can set a due date. Notice by default, it already set a due date for me of a week out. So it's kind of doing some things automatically based on you know, predicted behavior. And then our status can't be unassigned, so I'm going to say, all right, we've assigned somebody for that ticket. Okay, so we filled out the main information. And we'll go ahead and save. Again, we want to trigger an email alert after this has been assigned. So we'll take a look. We'll see the system does that. So if I was the help desk manager, I want my help agent to be aware that they have been assigned to that ticket. So we'll give it just a second to do that, and we'll go look for that email. Okay, there it is. All right, so we get, again, there's going to be a confirmation. We want our requester to know that we're making progress with this. Our help desk agent automatically gets an email. We know who's been assigned, and there's all our information, so we can keep up with this item. And every time we're going to show that edit item link in the email. So we've got a system we're building in SharePoint, which is tightly aligned with email alerts to keep everybody up to date and let people know what is going to be the next action. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to show you how you can have a child list within this. So let me go to back to my ticket. Notice that we have a ticket ID on these tickets that's auto-generated. I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. Okay, so if I'm working a help desk ticket, depending on the complexity, I may have multiple tasks on that. So you're going to see how I can do an associated items list very easily, so I can have multiple tasks assigned to that one ticket. All right, check in with requester. Okay, and we'll make this real simple. We're going to status on that too, but in this case we'll just say not started, in progress, or complete. Okay, I'll do one more just to kind of show you that many-to-one relationship setup. Okay, we'll say that one's not started. Okay, so you can have tasks and keep up with that. So I've kind of got a work area as a help agent to kind of track what I'm doing with that particular ticket. I'm part of the team for the sake of this demo, so I can see the manager notes area, but our other users are not going to be able to see that. I'll show you how that's done with permissions. We've also got another key feature. With the tool, and I'll show you how this works. Basically, we'd like to keep up with history tracking. We want to know what's happened with this ticket. You know, when did it come in? Who's made updates? We want to be able to track progress or see whether this is stalled out. So we've got a system running in our tool here to log updates on that. This would be great for the help desk manager if they're kind of checking on status and making sure that everyone's keeping up with everything. So that's another extra part of the functionality. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you, generally with SharePoint tools, it's pretty common for the business users to want some kind of advanced search. We've got that set up. That's available to set up as part of the Infowise toolset. And we can do simple or more advanced search. So if I want to do something, for example, I want to check out any tickets that have SharePoint in the name of them, I can just go through here and really easily put that in. Okay, there's all the SharePoint tickets. So you can imagine in a help desk system you might have lots of tickets. So having an advanced search tool could really help us to track down particular tickets that we're interested in. Another thing that would be helpful, you might like to look at a calendar to kind of see a different view of those tickets, what's come in, that type of thing. So you can see we've got some hover functionality. I can also do something like click on the title. Notice it popped open a new tab, and that would take me right to the ticket. So you've got a kind of another way to access the help desk ticket information with that calendar view. And then yet another thing we can have, which adds a lot of value to the tool, we can do some charting. Maybe the management wants to see how we're doing with the overall reporting. Infowise does provide charting capability. Of course, that's going to be dynamic, update, real-time based on the list. Okay, so that finishes our first section of the presentation. What I've shown you is a tool that we've built from scratch in SharePoint without having to go outside of SharePoint with no code. There's no code in the solution whatsoever. And yet, I've shown you there's a lot of interesting and dynamic functionality going on with this list. But this is a system I can create without having to do any programming at all. So for the next part of the presentation, I'm going to talk to you about how you build this. What steps did I go through to make the solution that I just demonstrated to you? So we're going to go ahead and go through those settings now. Okay, everything is in a list context. So from that list screen, I'm going to go to the ribbon toolbar, and with Infowise, you're going to have a new button that shows up, really easy to see, this puzzle pieces icon. This is the Infowise design screen, and this is your hub. This is going to be where you can jump to all those settings, and you're going to be able to create all the functionality in the tool that I just showed you. There's an order to those steps. If you remember in the presentation at the start, I showed you kind of a sequence of things that you're going to do. Also, on our right sidebar, you see a reference point, which kind of tells you that sequence of things that you'll work on. So you can always use that as a reference point. So the first thing you need to do is make sure you have your lists and fields set up. As you can see in my demo, there were some fields that are much different than just out-of-the-box SharePoint fields. So to set those up, you go into the Configure Columns section, and one of the easiest parts of the functionality, but also the most valuable, is the color choice fields. So we like to use those a lot. This lets you assign an icon to drop-down choices. So you end up with dashboards that are much more attractive than just plain text SharePoint dashboards. Lots of choices here. Got 250 icons I can pick from, and basically all you have to do is map an icon to your choices. So then you end up with a really nice user interface. So basically I just create my regular SharePoint choice fields, but then I can convert them to this and just put icons with my choices. Okay, that's all there is to it. That's all you have to do for color choice fields. Really easy. Okay, the next thing is associated items. This was the tasks list that I showed you. All that's required there is to set up an additional SharePoint list, and you basically map that list to your parent list using these settings. So I have an associated items field called tasks that is in the parent, and I just identify the child list and create that field, and that's all that's needed to set up that functionality. Okay, we've got indicator fields. You might have noticed on the dashboard we have a progress bar and KPI, and again, those are really easy. Basically, you have to get a value from a field, so you do a little bit of configuration. This one's for on time. So this is going to help us know when tickets are stalled out or they're coming up on deadline. So basically, I'm just providing a range here. So if we're under a day, want a red box to get your attention. If it's 1 to 3 days, it'd be yellow. If we've got more than 3 days still due, then those are green. So that one's pretty simple. Also, you might have noticed there's a progress bar to kind of show us how much has been completed on that ticket. So we can do color mapping on that. You know, if it's almost there, you know, we can make it orange and then green when it's all the way filled up, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like a thermometer, if you will, that kind of view. But you can see the settings are just really basic, very intuitive. I just have to map to another column that contains the value. Just couldn't be any more easy to set up. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is come to the tab settings area, and that's how you get that neat tabbed interface. Much better than just the long scrolling SharePoint list the form for editing a record. So all you have to do is come in here, you just put the name of the tab you want, and you click the Add button, and then they just show up at the top up here. So in our solution, we had 4 tabs, and to set this up, all you got to do is come over here and just pick your tab, click the fields that you want on there, hit the little double arrow, and boom, they show up, and then you can just click on these buttons to set up the order how you want. Really, you can do this in just a few seconds, really. Just very simple to do. You just indicate which fields go in which tab. Okay. We can also do some interesting things. You remember there's the manager notes section, and of course I don't want to show the manager notes to the person who's requesting the ticket. It's just for the help desk team. So with the tab permissions, I can control that, and I can indicate that just the help desk manager security group is able to edit that, and then the help desk support team can look at it, but our other users, that will be hidden from their view. They won't see it when they pull that up. So those permissions become really useful. You remember there was a title on the top. That's how this is configured. So I can pick a field value. In my case, I'm showing the name of the ticket, which category it's in, and the current status. So all I have to do is pick this function picker column. It's got to list all my fields, and I can just double click on things to insert it into the view, and that's really all that there is to it. So that's everything you need to do for tab settings. The next thing you want to do is column permissions. So these work kind of like the tab permissions. So if you remember, for example, on the add form, we just showed 3 fields, right? So I don't need to show everything when somebody's submitting a ticket, and this is how you can control that. So the send message field, this is a function we use just for the edit form. So you can see here for the new form, we hide it, and for edit form, we want it to show up. I've got another one here that's kind of interesting. I put something in here where if our help desk ticket is in the category of hardware, I want to show another hardware details field, but otherwise, hide it from view. So we can kind of conditionally show and hide sections. And that's all you have to do for advanced column permissions. Okay, so the next thing is validation. SharePoint's totally limited with validation. You can indicate whether a field's required. You can get much more specific with Infowise. So if you remember when I tried to save my form, it stopped me from doing that. So the way I was able to create that type of validation is with these rules. So basically, what I said is the category can't be unassigned after it's created. I'm checking here to see if we got a date timestamp on created. This is because I don't want the validation to apply on the new form, because we're not going to have it at that time. So I can create these different rules. You see I have an interesting one here for the hardware details. Recall that if I pick hardware for category, we're going to have another field. So if the category is hardware, we need to make sure hardware details has a value in there too. And then I can type in the message I want the user to get. So those are really easy to set up, column validation. Okay. Next one's defaults. Remember that our user was auto-populated? And another one, we also went ahead and auto-populated the due date to kind of suggest the value to the user. So I just have these rules that I put in, and I can set those up to be auto-populated on the form for me. Just really intuitive as far as how you would set that up. I just put, today +7. Okay, another one is item ID. You only have to do this one time. It's useful to create kind of an ID field to help uniquely identify the records. In order to do that, I just pick a text field, and then I put in a pattern. And what this pattern tells the system is, all right, go ahead and make these IDs look like this. So my help desk tickets are going to say HDT dot, and this gives me a seed value, so they start at 10,000. That's all I needed to do. Once you've set that, you never have to do anything with item IDs ever again. It just auto increments with each new ticket. Okay, email alerts is a big one. You saw those emails I was sending out. I'll give you a little peek at how that's done. Infowise provides a comprehensive email alert system. It's one of the deeper parts of the product. Really, anything that you can think of that you want to do regarding email alerts, you can do with this tool. Usually the first thing you want to do is you create these templates. So this is the actual content of the message. And naturally you're going to create templates based on different things going on. So when you have a new ticket, when you assign a help desk agent, status change, all those kind of things. This is a visual editor tool. I don't have to use any code here. Notice that when this comes up, they're all things I can do just using these configuration tools, to pick fonts and things like that. I can do highlighting. I can insert a little icon, see our friendly help desk dude at the bottom. I can put a link back to that edit item, all that kind of stuff. So I think all of us get some kind of auto-generated emails that are just plain black text, and we all know where that goes, directly into your trash can, or you just don't read them at all. These are going to be much more appealing to the user, much more dynamic, and you're really going to be able to make something that looks attractive. On the right, you see a column picker list, so I can just go ahead and insert columns from my list, or I can put things like the edit item link in there. So all I have to do is just select that item, and then I either click add a subject or add a body. And so that's how you build up the templates. And then once you have your email template, then you can set up some rules as far as when these go out. So pretty intuitive, based on a status field, change things of that nature. And that's really, that's all there is to that. Okay, so that's email alerts. Next thing I want to show you is actions. I'm going back into my Infowise design screen. Okay, so this is what you're able to do to basically replace what you would have otherwise had to do with SharePoint Designer, but it's so much easier. Really just with a couple of mouse clicks, I can come in here and I can create these actions. There's lots of actions you can create. There's a list, I think there's something like 14 different options in there, but really just about anything that you can think of in terms of business logic, it's going to be available in this list. So when you come in here, basically you just configure when the action is going to be triggered. There's some advanced settings. Normally you don't have to do anything with that. And then you do something like update the value in a field. You indicate which item it will apply to, and then if needed you can add additional condition to that. So really you just set those 4 tabs for each action. You can create a sequence of actions. Recall, for example, that I'm updating a history log. So I've got some actions which put in those information records into our history. My tool does that. And then also want some things like printing out tickets, that kind of thing with the tool. Okay, so that's how actions work. We had a chart and a calendar. Those are configured in our app parts area. Basically, it's just going through configurations to map fields, that type of thing. Pretty intuitive. You're just going to map up, and you can do some things like do highlighting, things of that nature. So those are kind of some value adds. These would be things you do after you create your core tool. Okay, we did a list search also, if you remember. Really nothing to this. You just basically come in here and indicate the web part where you've created your list search, and you put in a couple of checkboxes, and that's it. That's really about all there is to set up the list search. Another thing we had was print templates. Let me go to that for you real quick. Okay, it's under print and export. So what you're able to do with Infowise, whether for on-prem or Office 365, this print tool will automatically generate a nicely formatted PDF for you. So I can go in here and, maybe we need to print out a ticket for some reason. It's just like the tab settings. I just pick the fields that I want to show in my report. I can set up header and footer, put in it dynamic things like have kind of like a date time stamp and who printed that out, that type of stuff in there. And then for the PDF, I can control the orientation, page size, things of that nature. You can also do like full summary reports of all the tickets. So lots of options there, but that's how you'd be able to get PDF output, and that's going to give you something like this. Here, I'll show you one of the PDFs real quick. Boom, there you go. So that's something you can save out. You can have the tool generate. Here you see it actually spitting out history, all those good details that you might like to save. Okay, so that's everything I need to do for printing. Okay, so we're running up on time a little bit. So the last thing I'm going to do is kind of tell you next steps in terms of what to do. I know there were some questions, and one of my colleagues I know is helping in answering in chat. So we'll try to take care of you in chat. So if you do continue to have questions, go ahead and put them in chat, and we'll take care of you. All right, so what's next? What do you need to do? The best thing for you to do is to download the product. It's free. You can go ahead and try this. And it's really, really easy to get this installed and set up in your environment. Okay, so if you go into the Infowise site, there is a product page for Ultimate Forms. So you just need to pick on-premise or Office 365, and then just click on that download link. Again, you can go ahead and get this and install it, try it out, and it doesn't cost you anything. So easy to set up, you don't have to pay anything right now. That will let you try out the product, and that's definitely the next thing you should do. Okay, with Infowise, you get unlimited support if you have any issues when you're using the product. Also, we provide training for you. That's a great value. So there is a page in our site which gives you lots of YouTube videos and step-by-step examples of how to do all the kinds of things that I was just showing. And then additional to that, we have a training package which is called Ultimate Forms Kickstart Training. It is an in-depth 2-hour training. We'll walk through and show you how to do all these kinds of things that I was showing you in my demonstration today. So we'll actually get into those details and step-by-step do those steps. So it's going to be a lot more specific. That's included with any of the products that you buy from us. Additional to that, we've got training sessions where you can do lab-based training, where we'll actually give you training materials and you can go step-by-step and build a solution, really get your hands dirty, and you'll have an instructor there to help get you unstuck and answer any questions about the Infowise product. So that's kind of the next thing, is to take a look at the foundation training as a new product user. Okay, so we also do webinars like we're doing today. Those are once a month. We have new information on features that we're releasing that show up in our blog section. So there's all the time updates going on with our product. So all kinds of resources here to help you get started, and that's that's the general idea as far as Infowise. So I really appreciate everybody's time today. It's a fantastic product. Even though it's accessible and easy for new users, it's also a very deep product. As a developer, there's all kinds of options and things I can do. So it really does scale to more sophisticated solutions if you go further and want to use it in that way. So thank you very much for your time today, and I hope to be working with you guys soon in training. Thanks.